A couple of things I need to do. We do share this on Facebook, so give me just a minute to work through those items here. Okay, now I just need to share it one more time here. All right. Almost there, folks. Appreciate your patience. And I think I'm ready. All right, everyone, welcome to the Denver Association of Assisted Living Residences. We just went through our networking session, and now we're going to move on to the sponsors. And so I want to encourage everybody to visit our website. It's DAALR.com, which stands for Denver Association of Assisted Living Residences. If you're in this page, you want to pay attention, if you're in Colorado particularly, to the key links. And in the key links, we do have the Chapter 7 regulations. I think we also put the Chapter 2 regulations in here just recently. So these are the regulations, if you're operating in Colorado, that you need to know like the back of your hand. These are the rules. So make sure you click on those. There's other links here that we have that we just make convenient for you, so you don't have to scour through the internet in order to find these. There's a lot of information here that would be helpful to you, particularly if you're in Colorado, but some of these may pertain to if you're outside of Colorado as well. And then we have our Facebook page. It's called Denver ALR. We encourage everybody to join our Facebook page. This is, of course, our social networking. So it's a great place to put on comments, ask for something if you're trying to get some information. So please feel free to join this and contribute your knowledge. And then we appreciate everybody that signed up with Meetup. This just gives us an idea how many people to expect. Not as important these days because we're not meeting in a restaurant, but when we're at a restaurant, this is really important. So we do appreciate your participation in this. Next, we have the sponsors, and these are our sponsors. I'm going to go through them individually. The RAL National Association. This is an association nationally for assisted living. We happen to be lucky enough to have the president of this association with us tonight, Mr. Brian Pinkowski. Brian, would you like to say a few words about the association?
Absolutely, absolutely. We're doing a lot of things. Actually, this week it's been kind of exciting, what we've been working on for the National Association. We've been helping some of the small towns in Arizona and other places deal with how they're handling the National Fire Code as it applies to smaller assisted living. We're also, for people who are investing, sometimes a community and a city will want to know traffic numbers. And so we're working with the Institute of Traffic Engineers to help them get the numbers right, because the only numbers that they have are for big box places with 135 residents. And so people freak out when they look at how much traffic does an assisted living place have, and they only find the data for 135 residents. It's a big thing. And of course, we have a big conference coming up in October, at the beginning of October, end of September in Phoenix, and it's going to be a lot of fun. We got some speakers coming up. We're trying to wrangle the former Surgeon General to show up there. We'll find out if we can get him to participate, but we've got a number of others, and it's always a lot of fun. In fact, that's where Vern and I first met in October 2017.
Thank you, Brian. Appreciate it, and appreciate all that you do for the community. Okay, next we have Anderson Legal Business and Tax Advisors. These guys are great, particularly for your taxes or your entities. So we do have a link. There's a link there. We also have a link on our webpage that you can go to. And if you go through our webpage, we get a little kickback. So full disclosure, please go through the webpage. Next, we have the RAL Academy. And if you're new to this, then this is really the place to go to learn about the assisted living. They've got great education. They have mentorship. This is where I learned about assisted living. So again, if you're new, this is probably one of the best places out there to learn about the business and what it takes. And we do have a link directly on our site here to the RAL Academy. Also, I want to point out that I believe we have the same link that will take you to the national conference that Brian was just mentioning. So that's a great conference. We're going to be there again this year. And we've been to everyone that they've had since their inception. It's just a great get together. There's probably going to be 800 people there this year.
I think that's right.
So if you can go, please go. Next sponsor we have is Assisted Living Marketing. Peter could not join us tonight, but Peter Brissett has done a fantastic job with the websites. He's built our website. He built my wife's business website. We have him working on our business website. I've had a lot of web guys throughout the years. Peter's been the most responsive guy I've ever worked with. So I would highly recommend for you guys, if you're building a website or you need something that works well, to give Peter a call. You can reach him there at theassistedlivingmarketing.com. Next, we have Pinkowski Law. Michelle and Brian Pinkowski have been instrumental in helping the community achieve quite a few things. Michelle's not here, but I'll bet Brian would say a word for Michelle and his business.
Absolutely right. We came into this. We met Vern at the national convention. We came back to Colorado just in time to find out that the Department of Health was changing the regulations. And we immediately got roped into helping all of the assisted living community in Colorado, and then it expanded nationwide. We help people particularly with the setup and the purchase and sale of their operations in Colorado. We do a lot of regulatory stuff. So when the health department comes down and says, oh, you didn't put the spoons right on the table, we help sort them out on the regulations. And we do a lot of work all over the country with helping people overcome cities who are confused about the rights of the elderly to live wherever they want. So that's a significant thing, helping people overcome planning and zoning so that they can put that assisted living where it needs to be to make things work best for the seniors.
Thank you, Brian.
Thanks, Vern.
They recently helped one of my clients go from a brand new facility where there was only 8 beds allowed and got them all the way up to 16 beds with a difficult city and an HOA that was fighting them all the way. I mean, the HOA was pretty ugly to these folks, but they're able to do 16 beds, and we all know the numbers worked very well there. And it was all because of what Brian and Michelle did that my client was able to do that. So thanks from my client, Brian.
Oh, you bet. Thank you, Vern.
Next, we have my company, Grand Avenue Business Brokers at A Better Way Realty. And we do 2 things. I am a business broker. I can help you buy or sell your assisted living business. And the other thing we do is we do lease options. So sometimes we're the buyers in essence, because we will buy the properties and then lease them back to an operator. This is a good option for banks. It's a lease with an option to buy. We let the operator keep the appreciation in the deal. They can usually get in for 10%. We've done deals though with operators that we have a good record with for as little as 5%, or I think we've done a deal or 2 with nothing down for really good operators that we have a history with. So it's a great opportunity to build your 3-pack per se and increase your homes so that your business is more successful. And you can look up the details about that lease option program at the ralleaseoptions.com website. Recent activity that we've had with Better Way is and this is a little bit old, so I'm sorry I didn't get this updated. We did 4 memory care homes recently for $3.2 million. We still have under contract 48 beds, plus another 22 beds that is under contract We have under contract 8 beds out in Washington. We did 16 beds out in Maryland. We have a 6-pack of houses out in the East Coast. I think it's in Maryland that we're working on. We may have a 6-pack in the Denver metro area that we could split into 2 3-packs of homes for sale. So if you need help buying or selling, then you can give me a call. There's my phone number. It's also in the chat screen. And this is a property that I have out in Grand Junction. I'll just mention it's $2.9 million. There's 4 facilities, a total of 43 beds. There is an upside on this too, because you could simply add 4 beds by changing a license and doubling up a couple rooms. So there's an opportunity for some immediate growth with very, very little cost. So if you have any interest in that, then feel free to reach out to me. CALA, the Colorado Assisted Living Association, is a group that's been around for a long time helping operators. And we have 2 spokespeople from CALA here. Who would like to give us the news from CALA tonight? Tammy, you're muted.
I'll be happy to start, and then Janet can say whatever I missed. My name is Tamara Muir, and I am an operator up in Fort Collins. I've been in assisted living for 15 years. I am the president-elect for CALA Assisted Living, and I'm the board. I'm also on the AALAC committee at the health department. Things have been happening in CALA. We've been working really hard on a lot of things on all of your behalf. One is we are working currently with some legislation that we want to propose for this next session. Looking at the regulations and carving out what makes sense for small assisted livings versus the larger guys. We didn't get that in timely last year, and so we're working on kind of getting more data together so we can fight the fight harder this time. We've also been working with, there's some new regulations coming down from the life safety division on fire suppression things, and we are working as a group with our government relations committee to try to see how we can mitigate some of that. We have a happy hour tomorrow up in Northern Colorado at the Boot. If any of you are up in that area, it starts at 5 o'clock. It's a meet and greet sort of thing, just to kind of let our hair down and commiserate and get to know each other a little bit. And we did have a conference scheduled, I think it was September 14th. But that, because of COVID, has been postponed to February. And the other thing is we're working on Monday, if any of you don't know, there's a Board of Health meeting to enact the mandatory vaccine status for healthcare entities. We have a concern because right now the way it's written, it is applying to 24/7 facilities. We've heard rumor that hospice and home care agencies will be included in that, and we're hopeful for that if the mandate's going to go through. But we have a position paper that is on our website, so I encourage you to go check that out. Send us your comments and feedback about that. Janet, what else?
You know what? Through CALA, we've been able to do some awesome training and networking. You have mentors ready to go for you. So sometimes when you're operating a home, you feel like you're in a vacuum because none of your friends really operate a home. And so you don't have anybody to run ideas by, but there's plenty of mentors on CALA for you. Some of us, I've been in the business for 19 years, ran 8 homes. You know what? So we've been there, seen it all, done it all, done plenty of plan of corrections. Reach out, join CALA, then you have access to 11 board members that are experienced operators that are willing to help you go to bat for you. So I think, on behalf of CALA, we're bigger and better than we ever have been. And it's well worth your less than $300 to join CALA. So your bang for the buck is definitely there, even if you only go to the trainings and you get a couple phone calls a year to say, hey, what's going on? There's my sales pitch.
Very good.
Thanks, Tammy. Thanks, Janet. Appreciate the update. Okay, so Chuck Bongiovanni, He has a lot of experience in franchises, and I've been kind of following what he's doing with the assisted living. I have a client that first introduced me to him. We were out looking for a house that she was going to go through his program. We haven't found her house yet, but I started looking at what he did, and some of the stuff I've seen was just really, really impressive. And so I invited him to come speak to you guys about this. There's not many franchises out there for assisted living. There's an old one that's been out there for a long time, but I don't ever hear about what they're doing. They're kind of, I think they've kind of fallen off the face, although I believe they're still out there. I've heard of a couple of houses, but these guys are doing it right. So everybody, I'd like to introduce you to Chuck Bongiovanni.
That's close. That's
So
good.
let's give him a hand. And let's see here.
I think I'm good. Can you guys see it?
We can see it.
Okay, great. Well, thanks for having me here tonight, Vern. I appreciate it. It's exciting to see people from not just Colorado. I thought this was just Colorado, so it's cool to see people from all over the country. So I want to start tonight by talking about, what if you could raise your current rates and stay full? And what if I told you we're already doing it? And what if I told you we know the secrets why families choose residential assisted living homes? Would you believe me? I hope so. I'll tell you a little bit about me and my team. Again, my name is Chuck Bongiovanni. I'm the founder of Care Patrol Franchise Systems, which is the largest senior placement franchise in the nation. I left there about a little over a year ago to partner with my friend Gene, that you guys all know. Something that's really important. I have 12 years of franchising experience, but I've personally toured over 10,000 homes with families over the years. I started the placement referral industry 28 years ago, and have toured over 10,000 homes with families and directly or indirectly placed over 100,000 residents in specifically residential assisted living homes. So Gene, I don't have to say much more about him. Anthony Zarelli, Tony is our director of operations. He's 27 years veteran of residential assisted living. He has 4 homes in Arizona, and he has an incredible reputation in the industry. And then Shannon McGinnis. Shannon's been working with me for about 9 years now. She's an expert in franchise onboarding and franchise compliance. So earlier in the year, we were named, quite surprisingly, to be honest with you, one of the 5 senior living providers to watch in 2021 from Senior Housing News. They had an idea of who I was, who Gene was, and we're very excited about what we were doing together. And I can tell you, we're the only residential care home that's ever made that list. And we're the only ones that ever made that list before we even opened our first home. So part of what we do is really take a look at why families choose the homes that they choose. We dig deep into science-based kind of studies and really look into this. And so, it's not the looks. People think it's looks. I know plenty of beautiful homes that have a ton of openings. It's not the price. It's interesting because if you look in any area, usually the homes that are priced the highest are usually full. And it's not the location. They did studies on baby boomers, women and men looking for assisted living, as well as millennials, and location did not score very high on the ratings. What it's all about is value and trust. In my experience with all the families I've toured with, 25% of them really had a real budget. The rest, really looked more for value. I have had families that told me we can't go a dime over 5,000. I take them to a home that offers a lot of value, and they move in for 6,500 without blinking an eye. And it happened more than once, more than 100. Quite frequently that happens. So about 25% of all families really have real budgets. Remember that when you're touring a home. And so the question is, what does your home have that creates value? And I know everyone's going to jump in and they're going to say, we give the best care. I can tell you that unless you can prove you give the best care with data, I can tell you that families hear that from every single care home that there is. So they may tour 4 homes and they hear from all 4 homes, we give the best care. Well, if you go to 4 restaurants and hear that we give the best, we make the best steak, it really diminishes who makes the best steak. So families trust brands that they know. Why do they run to Sunrise and Brookdale and Atria? Because they're big and they know the name and they've seen them all across the country. And so they feel more comfortable immediately. They have that trust with the big assisted living places. And so if you take a look at this, Brookdale, over 800 communities, Sunrise over 320, and then here you are with your one home. Well, that's because many residential assisted living homes lack the power of branding and name recognition. And those are two pretty big things. What we're doing at Majestic Residence is building big box meets little box, having the branding of a Brookdale and the care of a smaller residential care home. I have seen branding work firsthand with my last franchise, Care Patrol. And I can tell you that once you get to a certain number in any city, you just take over the business in that area. Our philosophy is it's time for us to compete against the big box communities. We don't look at the other homes as competitors that are around us. We want to work with them, but our goal is to really be seen as a big box community that just happens to be really, really small. So the power of branding. Wyndham did something a number of years ago that was very interesting. They were taking a look at the market of hotels and they saw a lot of brands that really weren't doing well. And rather than just letting them fail, they decided to partner with them. Some of them they bought, some of them they partnered. And if you didn't know it, most hotels are franchised. So Wyndham created a huge franchise system called the By Wyndham brand. And hotels that weren't doing well like Days Inn, all of a sudden became Days Inn by Wyndham, made some improvements on their looks and their policies and their processes. Howard Johnson even stayed in business because of that By Wyndham name and that By Wyndham brand. So we're doing the same thing with Majestic Residence. We're creating a national brand, partnering with 300 to 400 homes. We are well on the way to that right now. Our 2021 plan was 50 homes. We're currently at 32. I see no issue of hitting 50 this year. 2022, we want to be at 125, and by 2024, 300 Majestic Residence homes. And I can tell you with my last franchise, once you hit 100, again, big things start happening. But you can also do a lot of things that the big boxes can do that the small residential care homes can't do, and that's a lot of these contracts that I'll talk about here shortly. But I want to talk about what a franchise is, a values-driven culture, our marketing strategy, and our flagship features. So basically the power of franchising, it creates less competition. It creates the ability for contracting and also stays current with technology. You have someone else looking for technology, someone else looking for things, as opposed to running the home and not having the time to always stay current with things. So what is a franchise? Quite honestly, it's just entrepreneurs working together under one system to create market domination. You still own your home. You still own your business. We don't own any part of your home or any part of your business. And, for more security, we're overseen by the federal government. We're overseen by the Federal Trade Commission, which means I have hundreds of franchise laws that I have to follow, which is great. I'm really glad, because prior to that, franchising had a bad name because people were quote unquote selling franchises. The going joke back in the beginning was, if they could breathe and they had a check, they're my franchisee. Well, things have changed quite a bit since then. So I'm going to talk about Majestic the rest of the time, but I want to talk about upfront what are some of the benefits of partnering with us. One, less unoccupied bed days. Our homes that are open right now, 6 weeks ago, when many of them started with us, they were at 67% occupancy. Right now, every single one of our homes are full. Higher rates, we are averaging $400 to $600 more than average homes that are around us, simply because, again, we know the secret that families will pay for value. Higher rates means higher profitability, higher quality care through some technology and innovation. I'm going to show you some technology that is just absolutely crazy. And this isn't even all of our technology. I just brought out some of our high points. And then having national contracts and partnerships, I'll talk about that tonight. And then being able to brand on a national level. So what's our plan? What have we been doing since we started this company? Well, I knew that when I started with Care Patrol, in order to build a national brand, everyone had to be on the same page. And that meant everyone had to have a values-driven culture. From, the franchisor to our franchisees to all their employees, we all had to be on the same page. And so what we developed was what we call welcome home values, with the emphasis on the word home. Being honest, understanding that to our owners and our caregivers, we pledge to be honest to our residents and families and healthcare professionals. Being observant, noticing those subtle day-to-day changes in our residents. And we have some technology that'll do that for us and to help us. Memorable, making sure that every moment with our residents and their family is a memorable, positive experience. And then finally, empathy, knowing that it's not about us, it's about our residents. And these words are actually in our vocabulary within our franchisees and within their employees. They're not just 4 words they're just up on some board somewhere. We work through honest, observant, memorable, and empathetic care. So marketing. This is the average residential care home brochure. Trust me, I've seen probably 15,000 of these things. We knew that if we were going to go against the Brookdales and the Atrias and the Sunrises, and by the way, I know all their CEOs were friends, but if we're going to go against them, we have to brand like they brand. So this is just some of our branding. That's the average brochure. This is some of our branding that we have. When families come to our homes, they have a branded folder. Inside the folder, there is pages on every one of our programs. We have a digital brochure rather than just a trifold. This digital brochure is also available, of course, in PDFs. We make this available to the referral agents that we work with, but more importantly to the families, that they can see all of our different things that we have to offer. We also have other marketing flyers that we create time over time to help franchisees promote their homes in their local area. And this is done for you. It's not anything that you have to create. And then I want you to do this. I don't want you to actually watch the video, but just take your camera, your phone, and just take a picture of this so you can go back to it later and see some of our QR technology. What you'll see here is a video tour of one of our homes in Kansas City, which started with us with 5 residents. It's a 12-bed home. Started with us with 5 residents, and they have 12 today. Social media marketing. Vern's awesome with social media. That's how I found him. But we know that a lot of times care homeowners don't have a lot of time to do that with, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and all those kinds of things. So we have software that helps with that, more than just helps. For example, you may get a text message on Monday that says, take a picture of your residents doing an activity, write 3 sentences, goes into our software system. Our software system waits for the opportune time. It monitors when's the best time to upload to Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and all that. And it automatically uploads to all the social media platforms. And it probably took the franchise owner under 3 minutes. So we look at working together to get the homes filled quicker. And some of those are relationships that I had with my previous franchise, one with long-term care insurance. If you called Genworth right now, or you called, what's the other one? The other one, I forgot the other one's name. If you called them right now and said, hey, my mom has a policy with you, John Hancock, there you go. Has a policy with you and she really needs the care now. What do? Well, they're giving out, of course, Brookdale, Atria, Sunrise, and those kind of companies. We do have a national contract with both of those companies, working on some more also. Workers' comp. Workers' comp is something I worked on with my last franchise because I really believe that the 40-year-old man who falls off the roof and shatters his ankle should not be going to a nursing home for 3 weeks. So we work with worker comp companies for short-term, short-stay residents. We're getting $250 to $300 per day for those residents. They're bringing in the wound care nurse, they're bringing in the CNA, they're bringing in the OT, PT, and we're still saving the worker comp company about 40% per patient that they send us. PPOs, we are in one of the largest PPOs in the nation, 20 million employees strong, some of the largest companies in the nation. And then we have exclusive relationships with some technology that I'm going to show you to get an idea of what creates value in a Majestic residence home. First one, I was the president of the placement association. And so I knew that we had to have a great relationship with the placement agents. So we created a phone app just for them, just to place in our homes. Makes it a lot easier. They get information on the home. There's search for in the homes, ratings and review, because we know that it's a very competitive market. And if an agent gives a good rating, then the other agents are going to tour those homes too. On the app, they can register clients. They can schedule tours on the client with the client. We have a tour check-in incentive, and what that is this: once a franchisee becomes a franchisee of ours and they open their doors, we geofence their home to the app. So that means if an agent comes to their home with a family, walks in the front door, the app knows that they're in the home. So they check in, they push the button and they check in. Every time they check in, they get 20 points. When they get to 200 points, our corporate office, not the franchisee, we will give them a $200 Visa gift card to take their residents or their clients out to lunch. Trust me, I took many clients out to lunch. I would have appreciated that. There's other tools on there. They can take a video tour of the home directly if there's a client whose sister's in another state. But we also have a tour survey. We want to know what the agent felt about the tour, how they felt the tour went. We also want to know how the family went. And the reason why we want to know how the family went was because we want to know what their objections are. So if they say, for example, mom has Alzheimer's, we're not sure this home can handle her. Once we get that information, we have automation that automatically sends that person emails about our Alzheimer's and how they can do very well in a smaller home. And so with the tour survey, if they fill out their tour survey within 24 hours and the family does too, and the resident eventually moves in, corporate office will pay $250 bonus on that placement. So our homes just pay the placement fee. We pay all the incentives. This is the family app. We make a smaller version for the family. In it, it has all the testimonials from across the United States, all of our homes. It has that survey for the tour, like I mentioned. It has articles about transitioning from home to a residential assisted living, because I've toured enough families to know that, just finding the place doesn't mean mom's moving in, because they change their mind over and over again. So there's articles in there that talks about that. And then since we know this is a very stressful situation for families, we created a stress channel for them. Usually it's the daughter or the daughter-in-laws, because us guys, we don't like to do this kind of stuff. Also, the power of follow-up. We have an immense CRM system that automatically sends emails to the families. For example, once we load in a brand new referral, which comes directly from our website, or the referral agents have a direct link, goes right into our website. Once they schedule it, an email goes out automatically, thanks them and looks forward to meeting them. And then after the tour, it automatically sends them a thank you for visiting. And then we send them some other emails where we emotionally connect to them. We're not here selling our amenities like the big places do. We're talking about how we know what you're going through. Let us be the caregiver so you can be the son or daughter again. And this is just some of the emails that go out to the family members after the tour. More importantly, we wanted to find out what families' concerns were specifically about residential care homes. Now, I'm not agreeing that these are actual problems. What I'm saying, these were families' concerns. So we surveyed 75 agents and asked them, what are 5 concerns that families have mentioned to you or you hear the most? Now, they're not in any particular order, but I'm going to share them with you right now. The first one was, will the home smell like a nursing home? I've never been in a home that smelled like a nursing home, but I can understand, a smaller home is smaller. If there's an accident, it takes, it's not as big as the big places, and air diffuses and stuff. So that was one of the issues. Another issue was, will mom be in a wet brief for hours? Many of the residents, come from hospitals or nursing homes, rehabs, and maybe that's the first time that daughter Judy realized that mom's been in a wet brief for 3 hours. Will that happen in a residential care home? And then, guys, I hate to say this, but they're going to ask, they're questioning, is the home professionally run? Because they see residential care homes still many times as mom and pop places. Another concern, will activities be offered? And finally, will the food be fresh and nutritious? So we felt in order to get a majority of our tours converted into residents, and I'll share our numbers here in a little bit, we had to take every one of these concerns that these agents gave us, and we had to solve every single problem. Mostly we solved them with technology. So the first one, will the home smell like a nursing home? Well, we realized we dug into the studies about scents. You go to a hotel, you go to a Hyatt Place, and there's a scent, and every Hyatt Place smells exactly the same. Well, it goes deeper than just wanting to smell the same. You see, scent bypasses a part of the brain for thought, and 75% of all emotions are directly linked to scent. We want our families to feel emotionally connect to our homes when they walk in the very front door. So we hired some chemists, and to create a unique aroma for all of our homes, we call Welcome Home. It's a proprietary blend of citrus, which increases feelings of relaxation, floral, which increases feelings of comfort, and then musk and amber, which increases feelings of security. And every family that leaves gets a 2-ounce bottle to take home. And the psychological thing here is they go home, they spray their house with it, and it reminds them of our homes too. Second, will mom be wet in a wet brief for hours? I think this is where we crushed it. I think every family who saw our technology for this has moved mom in. What we have exclusive rights for is some radio wave technology that alerts the caregiver in real time the moment an adult brief is wet or soiled. It doesn't go in the diaper. It's nothing like that at all. It's radio wave technology that can sense the immediate second that diaper gets wet or is soiled. The benefits for the resident, of course, decreased skin breakdown, increased dignity and confidence, better quality care. It also documents what time they went. So if we can see some patterns on there, we can know, hey, maybe at 1:15, our caregiver needs to take Mrs. Jones to the restroom, and hopefully, get her on a pattern for not having to be as dependent on the briefs. The benefit for our franchisees, again, decreased skin breakdowns and hospitalizations. We know sometimes when someone goes to a hospital, they just disappear. This is something that families will pay for as far as, again, a value add. This is something that our franchisees are charging $200 to $400 more per month. Families are paying it. The system costs $80 per month per resident. So there's a profit line there of, $120 to $320 or even more per resident per month. Will the home be professionally run? That's a big question that they have, because again, many families see this is a mom and pop place. This isn't a big Brookdale. Well, we're changing that. And that one of the things is we are going to be JACO approved. JACO is the organization that certifies hospitals and nursing homes. They just started assisted living, and they reached out to us. All of our homes will be JACO approved. Only 4% of residential care homes have electronic health records, not MARS, but electronic health records. Every one of our homes starts from day one with electronic health record benefits. We built in there what we call care alerts that notices a subtle change in for example, blood pressure, subtle change from the last time we took it. It will alert the caregiver and manager. Again, one of our values is to be observant. And this is one of the technologies that helps us be observant. It can help potentially stop situations from happening and avoid them. Again, better quality of care and benefits for our franchisees, reduce risk for liability, increase our relationships with physicians, because if we're calling and saying we noticed Mrs. Jones' blood pressure was higher than last time, that of course increases that relationship. Now, will activities be offered? That's a big one for families. I can tell you on the 10,000 tours I've been on, wow. I walk in and they're watching Jerry Springer, they're watching Judge Judy, they're watching a soap opera in a different language, or they're watching something that the residents really don't care for. That really bothered me. So we created majesticresidences.tv. By the way, right now that's free to the public if you want to take a look at that. What it is what we call the Netflix for senior care homes. So, a senior can put the, of course, if they have our franchisees buy specialized TVs where we can stream things to them. We hired a band or group called the Majestic Melodies. They sing songs from the 30s to 50s. We created them into like little 30-minute TV shows, and that's streamed to the homes daily also. They can watch TV shows that they enjoyed when they were kids. They can watch movies that they might have enjoyed. There's activities on there also. When we find out, when a resident moves in, we find out who their favorite band was or artist. We make sure that's loaded in the system prior to them moving in. And then we have virtual adventures. that we are working with a VR company to create these actual virtual adventures. Right now, they're 2D, but we are working on the full embrace of virtual technology. And here's one of them. This is a walk in the forest. And certainly, that beats watching Jerry Springer. Food. Will the food be fresh and nutritious? Some of the software that we use helps the manager, the owner, create the meal plan for the week. It prints out the weekly menu or daily menu, which will go on to our display TVs that are in the homes also. But it also creates an exact shopping list. We also have what we call the Majestic Garden. This is not the one that most homes have that uses all the chemicals. This is 100% organic, and you're seeing one of the pictures here. This is actually one that's in one of our homes. It took 3 weeks to create the growth that you see right here. This is an activity. The residents choose what they want to plant. They help plant it. They help harvest it. It makes a really nice waterfall sound every 15 minutes or so. So benefits for the resident: nutritious meals. It's an activity. Benefit for our franchisees. Does save money on food and less waste. Part of the less waste is creating that shopping list exactly for what you need. And it helps maintain the state regs too, because your meal plan, once it's approved through the software, is automatically signed by a registered dietitian. Training. What does our training and support look like? For people that don't have homes yet, we have 3 different phases. Phase 1 is we help fine tune your market research, help you with licensing. Phase 2 is all about operations. I believe our operation manual right now is over 1,200 pages, I believe. Help you with staffing, training, supervision. And then phase 3 is where the homeowners come that already own a home and they want to convert to our brand. Phase 3, we're going to teach all about branding on a completely different level, marketing on a different level. Remember that, Gene and Tony own homes. They know how to market as far as a homeowner does. I've got 28 years of marketing as a placement agent. And so you get the best of both worlds of how to market, how to give that tour. We have a 1.5-day tour boot camp. And this is the key to our homes going from 67% occupancy to 100% occupancy. It's that tour. And then also training on working with our franchise or national partners and overall strategy. Ongoing training, of course, we have franchise business coaches that come to your home. They'll work with you on your plans, on your goals, see how you're doing with those goals, see how we can assist in reaching those goals with you. Telephonic group meetings, regional, national conferences also. So training boot camp, the industry tour to actual move-in ratio right now is 28%. So if you have a 10-bed home and you're brand new, it's going to take you like 30 tours to hopefully fill that home, if not more. Well, our corporate goal is 80%. We're currently at 87%. How are we doing that? It's all about touring boot camp. It's all about the science behind who is looking for assisted living. We looked at all the studies, and we're touring and we're training on very different levels from our tours. Our tours have purpose. Everything we do has a purpose in the tour. So you can't buy a Majestic Residence franchise. We don't allow someone to just write a check and say, this sounds great, I want to be a part of it. It doesn't work that way. There are steps to becoming a Majestic Resident franchisee. We're vetting people. We want to make sure that we're bringing on a partner that we know we can make successful, and we know that it's coachable, and we'll understand why we're doing our system the way we're doing it. And again, I've only shown you some of the things that we have. So the steps to becoming a franchisee, and believe it or not, I snuck it in here. You guys actually went through the first step and you didn't even know it. Was this informational webinar? The second is completing an application, which talks about more about what are your personal goals, what are your business goals, questions like that. We have a discovery webinar. I just had one about an hour ago, which talks about all of our whole system. I show you things I didn't show you on this. After that, we give you a business skills test. We want to know where you'll succeed and where you'll need more help from us. So we can gauge that and plan for that in training. After those, you fill those out. We have a one-to-one interview with myself. We go over your application and your scores on your business skills test. Then we have a franchise disclosure webinar. If you remember, I said we're overseen by the Federal Trade Commission. Well, just like when someone buys a house, the buyer has to give other way around. The seller has to give the buyer disclosure forms. Well, we have 23 items that the federal government says we have to disclose to our potential franchisees, and it's 180 pages. And so I wasn't just going to give 180 pages to someone. We have a webinar that explains all those 23 questions. At the end of the webinar, you'll receive the franchise disclosure document and start your due diligence process. After you've read the FDD, had questions, we have an interview to answer every single one of those questions. And that's a very important meeting. We want to make sure we start off on the right foot. You know what we're expecting from you. You know what we know what you're expecting from us also in our duties. And then after that, you can call our franchisees and find out how they're doing. And if things that Chuck is saying is true, are they filling up? Are they able to charge more? Then after that, we have a final executive interview. And then that's when the team gets together and we decide who we award a franchise to. So let's talk about the numbers for a second. If you remember, if you would figure out what your current rate is at your home, if you remember, families are paying more for value and they're paying $400 to $600 more per month for our homes. Take that number, multiply it by 12 months. That could be your potential for per bed extra by working with us. Multiply that by your number of beds, of course. So the investment for this, if you are already operating a licensed home and you want to convert to our brand, by the way, you keep your name. So if it's Paradise Assisted Living, it now becomes Paradise Assisted Living by Majestic Residences. It kind of takes that Wyndham branding that we talked about. And so if you already own a current home, our franchise fee is $10,000. It's a one-time fee and a 6% monthly royalty per month. And we're paying for our royalties due to our value and due to the homes being able to charge more for the residents, and they're getting it. So again, benefits: less unoccupied bed days, higher rates, higher profitability, quality care through technology, our national contracts and partnerships, and branding on a national level, which is a very big thing. So Vern, I guess that's it, unless you have any questions I could answer or anything. I think you're on mute, Vern. You're still on mute.
Sorry about
There
that.
you go.
Okay, there is a question in the chat. Can you address how to recruit staff? Denver's in a huge staffing crunch, and how do you help operators hire staff in a tight labor market?
Sure. I could tell you, but I'd have to shoot you. No, just kidding. One of the things we believe in is a culture, but the other thing is we have healthcare benefits that are extremely affordable. And we're finding that is definitely helping retaining and bringing in some employees, whether that's just vision and dental or vision, dental, and medical. It is very, very affordable.
Terrific. Do we have other questions? You can raise your hand.
I'd like to expand on that. I'd like to expand on the tight labor market because I asked that. Sometimes it doesn't have to do with benefits.
Sure.
It has to do with trying to find talent. So what's your magic on finding talent?
Well, again, I can't give you away my secrets, but Tony, our director of operations, 29 years in the industry, he's had he's had no problem getting employees. He'll share that during training. It's pretty creative what he does. Sorry, Janet.
All right, we have another question in the chat. What's a typical margin for these homes?
Well, again, the Federal Trade Commission has some things that I can say, some things I can't say. So I would basically say, take the margins you have now, add an additional $400 per bed as you replace the resident in your home. And that's probably a good way of doing that. I'm not allowed by federal law to give any earnings claims during COVID. It's just a franchise law that FTC and put on all new franchisors in 2020 during COVID.
Sounds like the SEC rules.
It really is, because it is a commodity in many ways. Yes.
Let's see.
But don't forget, you get to talk to our franchisees. They can share that information with you. I just can't.
Okay, good to know. Can you run that movie label by again?
The movie label?
Yeah, was that the
Yeah, let me see what I have here.
Majestic TV? Or,
Yeah, let me.
Majesticresidence.tv.
Yeah. I think, let me see if I have the right one with me here. Where did I put it? Okay. Oops. I think I grabbed the wrong PowerPoint. Sorry about that. You can just go to Majestic Residence TV, .tv, and everything's on there. We have it free to the public right now, free to care homes right now to use.
I went through that pretty thoroughly. I thought it was fantastic. I think that's
Thanks.
when I reached out to you and said, this is just amazing.
Thank you.
So, yeah, I'll have a quick question. Like the virtual tours, is that where they put on the goggles, the virtual goggles and walk through?
Yeah, I'll tell you, we can actually have a family member in New York and have the home in Chicago and walk through the home and give them a virtual tour of the home directly. We can hear questions that they may have, answer the questions that they may have, but also using it with residents also. And also the two-dimensional virtual experiences that we have too. The residents love doing those also.
So like that walk in the woods, is that
Yeah.
something they can do VR?
Right now it's two-dimensional. We will be making it VR. Yes.
Okay, and I'll speak to that. I saw that at the National Trade Show 2 years ago. I was really taken with that because you can go in different places of the world and put these goggles on and just look at all the detail. I think there was like some chapel in Rome that I walked through, and it was unbelievable.
You can actually walk through a painting now. You put your favorite painting up there and walk through. It's kind of crazy.
That's amazing. All right, we do have a few more questions here. Can you speak more to the Depend/Incontinence program?
Yeah. Okay. So how it works? It's worked with radio wave technology. There are two antennas that you put under the bed, under the mattress. It creates a bubble around the resident, and it works with a RFID chip. So the RFID chip, it looks like a Band-Aid, and you put that Band-Aid on the outside of the brief. Now, mind you, nothing gets wet. What happens is the second there's any kind of urine or feces in that brief, and that interferes with that RFID chip communication to the computer, that's when the alerts go off. So the lights turn from blue to red. It sends a message to a monitoring board that the caregivers, we call our caregivers resident ambassadors. So it goes to the resident ambassadors, and right now they're currently working with us to create a pager, like the old 70s pagers, 80s pagers, that when a brief is wet or soiled, the caregivers assigned to that person's pager will go off, and they'll know exactly where to go. So what we do with this information, again, any home can say we give great care. Well, we can show the family on tour that their average brief has changed within a minute and 47 seconds.
That's amazing. Next question. Can you talk about the healthcare? It wasn't mentioned in the brief.
The healthcare benefits that we have?
I believe that's
okay.
Nature of
Yes, it sounds like one of those kind of things. Are you offering some sort of health insurance program that is available to all of the Majestic members?
Yes. Yes, and it starts on the full medical, I believe, is like $227 a month.
Wow, thank you.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive. Power of branding. We put a lot of things together at one time.
Next question. Is your fee based upon current occupancy or a flat fee per month?
It's 6% of monthly revenue. That's our royalty.
Okay.
So basically what that means, Vern, is if you have two residents and you're in an 8-bed home, we're working together to help fill those beds because, the more you make, the more we make. And that's a partnership of franchising.
Terrific. How many candidates begin your process to end up with one agreement to join
Great.
Majestic?
Great question. We're at about 7-1 right now. So we approve 1 out of every 7 that are very interested in it.
Okay, we have a comment from Dr. Scott, who thought it was a brilliant program.
I'm sorry?
Dr. Scott thinks it's a brilliant program.
Oh, awesome. Thank you. I appreciate
A nice
that.
compliment there.
Appreciate that. Yeah.
Any other questions from anybody? You only approve 1 out of every 7 who apply.
Yes. And our due diligence process is about a 6-week process. This isn't like, here's a PowerPoint, you want to do it, come buy it. It's nothing like that at all. It's a 6-week process where we meet a number of times, go over finer details, making sure that you fully understand our role and what we're responsible to you for and what you're responsible to us for, making sure that we have a lot of goals that are aligned with each other. I mean, we're pretty much married, you know what I mean? So, and that's why I believe that our homes that we do award do very well.
Terrific. If you don't own a home, do you help find one?
There's certain laws that we can and can't do. Like, for example, let's say you find a home that you're interested in. I'll give you an example. We closed, we awarded a franchise yesterday in Oregon. They're going out and looking at some homes. When they have 4 homes that they're interested in, we're flying out and we're going out there and we're helping them assess the home and what they would need to do with it and such. So indirectly, yes, it's against federal law for me to say, this is a home in this location that you have to get. It'll be successful. So we give you all the tools to be due diligent about it, but then we follow it up with you.
Terrific. Short-term care, like injured workers' compensation. We just discussed the need for short-term care without the cluster of finding a bed.
Yeah, that's with the worker comp companies. It's been successful so far because no 40-year-old wants to go to a nursing home. They want to go to something that looks like home and feels like home. I wouldn't recommend it if you have 1 bed left because these are short-term residents. They pay a lot of money, but they're short-term residents. So if we work together and you have 2 beds, 3 beds open, we will contact the companies and say, hey, we have availability in this home for anyone in your state or city. The one thing about workers' comp is the patients, when they're, let's say, in the hospital, with worker comp, they don't get much choice. The family isn't out like looking at nursing homes. They basically say, this is what your worker comp is paying for, so you go there. So it's pretty easy to get those residents with the contract.
Adam Malachi says it's a good assisted living program and franchise.
Well, thank you.
Exclamation mark. How did your experience with Care Patrol inform what you've done with Majestic? How much more did you innovate to create the Majestic value proposition?
I wanted to franchise this industry 2 years before I started franchising Care Patrol. I saw the need way back then, like 14 years ago. My first manual I wrote for residential care was 14 years ago. What I learned in Care Patrol has made the second franchise system a lot quicker. Our speed has to our goals is a lot faster. We awarded 15 franchises in Care Patrol my first year. We won a ton of awards for fast franchise growth. We already doubled that here in September. So basically, I learned all the mistakes that I did before and not making them this time. Plus, I brought a lot of my relationships with me that I had over to this franchise system too.
Okay, another question. On average, what are the returns for 6 residents? I came in late.
Yeah, again, I can't answer that question, but I can direct you to where you could.
What is your opinion of the Care Predict program?
I don't have one. I don't have a lot of experience with it. We have our own system. So I can't answer that question.
Okay. Do we have any other questions?
How does our system compare? I think it's a little bit more robust in many, in several ways. It's all about systems, 100% correct. Yep.
Okay,
Awesome.
Chuck, thank you so much. That was awesome. I'm really impressed. I'm more impressed than it was already.
Well, thank you. I appreciate everyone being here tonight, and good luck with your homes and your business.
All right, terrific. Okay, so next in our meeting, we have basically haves and wants. So if you have something that you want to share with the group, or if you're looking for something, this is an opportunity for you to express yourself. It's kind of an open forum. And then we go to basically, I step out and leave the panel open so that you guys can network, and we leave it open until the last person's gone. So if you want to chat with somebody, feel free to do that. Do we have any haves and wants this evening? Anybody have a deal? Looking for a partner? Looking for something? Okay. Well, it's quiet there, so I'm going to sign off for the evening myself and leave the Zoom open. So feel free to network until you're done networking. I thank everybody for showing up tonight, and hope you have a wonderful month, and we will see you next month.